I think the first high quality audio component that I remember seeing as a kid was when I was like 11 or 12. I went to a buddy's house and his dad had this Yamaha with the VU meters on the front. The thing weighed a ton and it sounded really big and clean. This is the Yamaha A-S2100, and I feel like Yamaha is bringing back some of that vintage feel into a more modern integrated amplifier. This is definitely built for audiophiles, and even though it's a fairly simple piece of gear, there's a lot to it, so let's check it out. Most of the pictures I've seen of this online are the silver version, but I gotta tell you, I prefer the black. You still get a nice brushed metal front facade though, and buried right smack in the center are the two VU meters. Now that is decidedly old school, and you know, they're a little bit small to see from across the room, but I still love the aesthetic it brings to this piece. Below the VU meters, you've got old school knobs for bass, treble, and balance. They're very smooth to the touch and they have a wide range of control. Those are the kind of controls that you would expect, but there's a couple of notable features about this integrated amp. First is a switchable phono preamp. You can go between moving magnet and moving coil at the flick of a switch, and that's not just a thrown-in phono input. Yamaha claims it is a top-notch turntable input. I'm also really excited about the headphone output, which is fully discrete and comes with a little trim switch so that you can adjust the output depending on the impedance of your headphones. Around back, you'll notice there are a lot of connections, and we'll go through those in a second, but you'll notice right away that there are no digital audio inputs, and that kind of bucks the trend that we've been seeing lately with built-in digital inputs and DACs. I figure Yamaha thinks that audiophiles are going to want to provide their own DAC, whether it's through a Blu-ray player or a dedicated unit. Along those lines, Yamaha provides some balanced inputs, and you can actually switch the phase here if you want to and change the attenuation. That's some really granular control. And I also like that Yamaha puts the phono input down in its own little bay. It didn't just cram it in with the rest of the inputs. And then finally, we've got some really robust binding posts here. These things are rock solid, certainly not gonna break anytime soon, and they're gonna grab onto your banana plugs nicely. Also, Yamaha has gone with sort of a dual monoblock design. So we have the right side outputs on the right side and the left side on the left with A and B options. This thing is an absolute beast at 51.6 pounds. I like anytime a component like this is overbuilt like that. And as I mentioned, it's sort of a dual mono design in that it does have one power supply, but it separates all of the individual components for the left and right channels on each side of the chassis. Not only does it feel awesome right out of the box, but it looks great too. I love the glossy wood panels on the side, and those VU meters are just classic. And they're gonna tell you how much of that 100 watts RMS 160 peak per channel you're juicing up your speakers with, which, you know, let's face it, is fun. Bottom line, I feel like Yamaha has reached back to its roots to provide another stellar piece of audiophile quality gear, and this thing is going to look great in anyone's system.